Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
So that's kind of how I knew I was going to be an engineer. Even when I was a kid, I'd get in people's cars and start pushing buttons and see what it does. Even now, people go, "Hey, do you know how this works?" I figure it out. I go, "Yeah, you push this button and do that."
See, the difference is with these new cars, I had to read the owner's manual.
I was about to pull it out.
On a couple of those
I don't know what
things.
half these buttons do. There's buttons that have little antennas. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what half these buttons do, and I was doing it.
I go by my dad's philosophy. Real men don't need instructions.
Right.
Well,
that was before YouTube.
did.
That was before YouTube, though, too. We can YouTube stuff now.
Yeah, actually, you can. I'll tell you what, it was the experience. By the way, any of you little old ladies that want to go out and buy a car, Charles is available as an escort. He can fix you up.
I don't tell my wife first, but I mean, again, this whole idea.
The wife and kids had to be standing on the porch shaking their heads when you came back with another black Escape.
No, they didn't believe me. Yeah, no, I said, "What'd you get?" I said, "The same thing I had. Why would I change? To serve me well." But I mean, again, the point is, though, I'm the kind of guy I go in there, I like to have fun, and it's like you want to break the tension. You don't want to go in there and feel like you're under pressure.
No.
I was joking. I said the F&I guy thought he had a big spotlight he was going to put on me. Was looking over the paperwork, but they want to make it an easy experience. Just most people.
I'm sure they do.
And here's what I would say. If you go someplace and you don't feel comfortable and they're not, you feel pressured, go someplace else.
Yeah, really. If you feel like you're getting hosed, you probably are.
Very rarely. I mean, and I've been in a situation. I bought a car years and years ago, and I regretted it because there was such pressure just to get the deal done. And I go home and I was looking over the paperwork. It's like, man, they added stuff that I should have. I was kicking myself for not being more detail oriented on this stuff.
All the stuff they added, yeah, sure. Right. Oh yeah.
They promise you a price, and all of a sudden they go, well, there's, you expect the typical sales tax and stuff like that, but all of a sudden like, oh, we're going to add a $1,500 dock fee or something like that. It's like,
My guy up at the Ford dealer always had, when I tell him send me a black one, he says, I take it you don't want the undercoating and you don't want, I said, I don't even want the moonroof anymore.
Because he knows better, right? I mean, that's the thing. When you go in there with confidence, you say, that's my advice, is go in there with confidence. Say, here's what I want. Here's what I want to pay. Not here. What do you want your monthly payments to be? Like, oh, here's what I want to pay. Here's the price. We'll figure out the rest later. And yeah, you don't. They try to tell you Scotch Guard. You just laugh at them. We're good. I'll buy Scotch. I'll buy my own. I'll buy my own can of Scotch Guard.
Yeah, I'll buy my own can of Scotch Guard. That's insane. I don't want to. I don't even want a moonroof or a sunroof because I never met one that didn't leak eventually, and I don't need that grief and aggravation. Plus, my hair is getting a little thin on top.
Well, I guess there's another time to mention. That's happened to my wife's last car. Remember what happened? She left the sunroof open.
Oh, yes.
In a rainstorm.
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't good either. So
no.
If you're a forgetful type,
your electronics don't like water.
Well, and also in this particular vehicle, the computers were there under the seats and stuff like that. So a lot of the computers got wet.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of problems.
I had a friend that had a brand new pickup truck he just bought, brand new off the showroom floor. Lightning, he owned a Subway, and he had it parked there. Lightning struck the ground by it, burned out every computer in the car,
right,
or in the truck, of which there was like 6 or 7.
Right. No, that can.
It was $10,000 worth of electronics to make that thing work again. Unbelievable.
That's an act of God too. I don't even know if that's covered.
I don't think it was. And oh my God, I can't do this. All right, Fisker. Their bankruptcy plan was approved after they made a deal on vehicle tech support. This is what I mentioned this last week, and this is always going to be the problem with this. The approval followed last-minute negotiations to preserve the company's $46 million sale of its remaining inventory of about ocean crossovers. That's all they had was the ocean. They didn't make anything else. They never got that far. The U.S. bankruptcy judge Thomas Horan signed off on Fisker's bankruptcy plan at a court hearing in Wilmington, Delaware, clearing the company to repay creditors with assets remaining after it sold off its vehicle fleet, which is normal. That's how it goes. The vehicle fleet sale hit a last-minute snag this week after American Lease realized that Fisker would not be able to transfer essential data and support services to new servers operated by the buyer. Without the data transfer, because they didn't have any. Fisker never had any of that. Without the data transfer, the vehicle fleet would be cut off from essential services such as updating software, reviewing diagnostic data, and allowing drivers to remotely access their vehicles. Well, that'd be nice. American Lease resolved the dispute by agreeing to pay an additional $2.5 million over 5 years for future tech support services. This was the thing I made a big deal about last week, Charles. The Fisker's gone, and if you bought one,
yeah,
what do you do?
Well, again, that same idea about in the old days of mechanical cars, like we talk about the DeLorean, we can find parts, we can fix it. But if you have a software-based issue with a car company that's out of business,
absolutely,
God help you.
Well, where do you find Fisker parts?
Right.
Who's making them now?
Right.
You can't go to the local parts store and ask for Fisker parts because they're not listed in any parts catalog that I know.
Again, it's going to end up like the DeLorean. They're going to have X number of new old stock parts, and once they're out, that's it.
Yeah, and you're going to pay premium for them when you're buying them. Okay, Elon Musk, my buddy, he vows to make lots of Tesla robo-taxis, and that conflicts with U.S. rules. It really does. Automakers must secure the NHTSA's permission before putting cars on the road that lack a steering wheel or other controls. I'm not getting in one that lacks a steering wheel or other controls. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you right now, Charles. Automakers must secure permission from the NHTSA before putting cars on the road that lack a steering wheel or other controls required by U.S. auto safety rules. If Tesla were to overcome that hurdle, which is by no means guaranteed, it could only put a few thousand robo-taxis on the road in a given year, effectively rendering its slick self-driving taxi a little more than a niche product, because that's nothing. A few thousand, that's nothing. Unless Congress increases this limit, several failed bills would have done, the exemptions aren't a viable route for a mass manufacturer, said Bryant Walker Smith, a University of South Carolina law professor and autonomous vehicle expert.
Well, and so here's the thing, though, is that there are, and I told the story of in Las Vegas. So I was in Las Vegas. I went to the convention center for a convention a couple years ago, and they have the tunnels, right? So they have Elon's tunnels, and they use Teslas to drive you around. At that point, they were still using drivers. But if you design an infrastructure, and I think about like the airport or something like that, there are certain places where having a taxi that'll shuttle you, even like when you go to Vegas, it's a short ride to the airport from the airport or whatever. That's a good application for robo-taxis or running back and forth, even from you go from your office to the train station or something.
Last time I was in Vegas, I got on that little bus that goes up and down the strip,
right, with
nobody in it but people that are riding. And no controls whatsoever. I don't know how I got in there, and I sat down and went, what am I going to do now?
Had to grab the steering wheel.
Oh, I had to grab my chest. Oh, my God. NHTSA has long permitted manufacturers to deploy 2,500 vehicles per year under a granted exemption, a tiny total for a company that sold nearly 500,000 cars last quarter alone. Such a low number also contrasts with what Musk told investors last week when he said Tesla would make this vehicle in a very high volume. So he plans on going for it. Let's just say
the ultimate goal is to replace Uber and things like that, or even the idea of having a delivery vehicle where you order from Domino's, they put it in the thing, and it shows up at your house. Domino's is already working on this, where there's basically an autonomous vehicle.
Oh yeah, they've
comes
had that
to your
already,
house,
yes.
and you hit the code and open it.
Yeah,
where they have these delivery robots and stuff like that. So the idea is it eliminates the need for a human to run your pizza back and forth or whatever.
Well, yeah, you walk out to the car, the window rolls down, and it hands you a pizza.
Right.
It's not bad. I guess it's not bad. I'm going to some new guys, not new guys, but guys that are...
Hang on. You set me up for a joke. I missed it. Go ahead. Say that again about the pizza.
Oh, you put the window down and they hand you a pizza.
That's great, especially if it's not your pizza.
Especially if it's not your pizza.
There you go.
Oh, God. he's loose. Let me just tell you. There's all these companies are still and the government is still investing big money in strictly electric vehicles, while all the manufacturers are starting to go to hybrids, and they're looking into other alternative fuels, but they're still putting money because the government has given it to them. Here, Stellantis has a company called Litton that they're backing, and they're going to invest $1 billion in Nevada lithium sulfur battery factory. Why? The company is hoping to capitalize on the demand for more affordable electric vehicle power sources. I understand that, and I can understand what they want to do, but nobody's buying them. Litton, backed by Stellantis and delivery services provider FedEx, said it would invest more than $1 billion in the facility that would initially create 200 jobs, growing to more than 1,000 jobs in northern Nevada. Nevada's Reno is also home to a Tesla factory that produces battery packs and other components for its EVs. The only legitimate electric vehicle company out there is Tesla. I got to tell you, that's my opinion. The rest of them are all just doing what the government tells them to do. I mean, here, remember the chip shortage? Here's a good one. The chip supplier for General Motors and Mercedes is getting a $750 million U.S. grant. The preliminary funding agreement requires Wolfspeed to take additional steps to strengthen its balance sheet to better protect taxpayer funds. Oh my God, this is something else. This kills me. It just kills me. Wolfspeed, a chip maker for General Motors and Mercedes, said to receive $750 million grants for its now new North Carolina silicon carbide wafer manufacturing plant. The U.S. Department of Commerce said. The preliminary funding agreement requires Wolfspeed to take additional steps to strengthen the balance sheet. Yeah, trying to make it a viable vehicle. The department said Wolfspeed's devices are used for renewable energy systems, industrial uses, and artificial intelligence programs. Their chips are chips. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like buying by J's or Lay's or whatever. I got to tell you, everybody keeps putting more money into this, and it's not going to happen. I'm just saying, that's me. That's all I know.